In this video, I'm gonna tell you a story about how my 5-year plan fell apart, but what I learned in the process. And so if something is going wrong or something's falling apart that you just aren't really understanding, I'm just here to tell you it gets better. And I'm gonna tell you some things you can focus on that down the road, you're gonna look back and say, oh, that makes sense. I'm happy that this happened because that makes sense. So that's what we're gonna get into. But before we do that, if you can subscribe to my channel, because we're just gonna keep talking. So again, now in 2018, I wanted to build this fitness empire. I already started in 2017. I built a fitness apparel company called 413 Apparel, custom fitness apparel, cut and sew from LA, all of that fun stuff. And I wanted to build this massive, massive fitness empire. And it grew really big. We had about, I think, 6 or 7 people that worked for us, with me, all of that. We were just a team, a family. We were grinding, right? And then over time, I was like, ooh, I saw that bank account dwindle away, even though revenue was high, but it was like costs were high, and I was like bootstrapping things, and I was like, ooh, okay, it's starting to dwindle away. And so I basically went broke trying to do this thing. Now, it was not the plan that I had. I was in my late 20s, and so when you're in your late 20s, you sit back and you say, oh, well, I thought that I'd be further in life than I am now. I thought that I would be further in life from a relationship standpoint. I thought I'd be further in life from a financial standpoint, from a career standpoint, all of these things, and this pressure started to mount, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on, because this was not my plan. But out of it, I took so much more. And so this video, I just kind of want to talk about that more, that I took out of it, because when you're trying something and you're trying to do something and you're failing at it, you might think it's a consistent failure. But if you have the right mindset and you keep working different but hard and you don't quit, you're gonna be so much more, and you're gonna just learn so much more. So the first thing that I did was my mindset shifted from process over prize. So often what we do on social media is we look at everybody's prizes that they get, or what we deem as like their prizes. We might see the car, the house, the whatever, and it's like, it's just stuff, right? And we're like, oh, but that's the prize, you know, the job title, whatever, that's the prize. And it's like, but at the end of the day, it's about process, because those things are fleeting. Like, you might have a car today and not tomorrow. You might have a home today, not tomorrow. A job title today, not tomorrow, right? So what you want to do is you want to focus on yourself in the process. I was focusing so much on this prize of like, we're going to build this thing and make all this money and like have this kind of fame that we just built this thing. And it's like, wait a second, I was focusing so much on the prize that I forgot to even appreciate the process of like, hey, we're grinding, we're learning, we're building something that's so cool, and we're learning in the process, and this is allowing us to become so much more resilient. And also, while we were failing financially over time, as towards like the tail end, I was like becoming more, my financial acumen was increasing, because I was like, oh, I know what we didn't do well in the first 2 years. In the last 2 years, I'm like, here's what we can do so much better, right? So, you know, when you are focusing on the process, you're able to look at areas in the process and you're like, hey, but I might have failed, but I did this better than I did last time. And for me, that's a win, because now we're failing forward. We're falling forward and we're becoming better, right? So focus on the process instead of the prize. Even if you didn't get the prize, it's okay. But if you focus on how you grew in the process and you commit to growing in whatever process that is, you're going to become so much better. Number 2 is I got comfortable in my own skin. When you fail, when you fall, like I've had layoffs, I've had financial issues when it comes to building a business. I've had a lot of, relationships that have gone sour. I've had a ton of failures. And the best thing that's ever happened is I just became comfortable in my own skin. Like when I put out videos and when I talk, I'm like, if you don't like them, you don't like them. If you like them, you like them. Like it's not something where I sit back and I'm like, oh, I hope that somebody likes me. It's like, no, I just do what's authentically me now. And I'm so much more comfortable in it, because over time, that failure, that just almost like you get hardened, because you're not affected by stuff so much anymore. Because it's like, oh, okay, if another failure happens, if somebody doesn't like a video, it's like, okay, I've put out hundreds of videos that people like that people haven't watched. Like this isn't okay. If I put out a product and people don't buy it, it's like I put out products before that have cost me so much more that people don't like and had bad reviews, and the product wasn't up to par of what I thought it was. Like there's so many things. And what happens is you just get comfortable in learning and trying. You get comfortable in doing your own skin. You get comfortable doing the things that you want to do and being who you are, because you realize like you're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect, and that's okay. But you can try to put forth a perfect effort, because again, it goes back to process of it. And so if you're trying to do something and you're trying to progressing is by nature failing, because it means that you're stepping into new territory all the time and you're trying to progress through some new territory. I'll equate it back to running. Like I'm now running 20 to 30 miles a week. If I just bump my mileage up to 50 miles, I think that 30 to 50 mile bump up. I'm going to experience some failure points that I haven't experienced because it's new, but it's about the process, right? So that's what I realized, just getting comfortable in my own skin. Number 3, I realized that failure isn't final. Like, so often we get in this mode when things happen to us, when things fall apart, when jobs fall apart, when our entrepreneurship falls apart, when, a relationship falls apart. We're like, oh my gosh, like this is final. It's the worst thing in the world. It's like, but the sun comes up and you still have and if you still have your health, if you're blessed to still have your health, like you have another chance. Like, failure isn't final. If you look at failure as final, you are just going to be a sad individual consistently. But if you look at failure and you're able to sit back and say, hey, in areas that were in my control that I failed at, could I do this a little bit better? Yeah. Okay, cool. The next time I'm not going to make those mistakes. I'm going to move forward. And also, if you're able to look at your failures and just understand like, hey, everybody's failing, everybody's figuring it out, and you're not the only person that is dealing with failure, it's going to help you out so much more. I think for me in the past, I would always sit back and be like, why me? I'm the only person going through this. And I looked around and was like, no, a lot of people are going through this. They might not be talking about it, but a lot of people are going through this. So that's okay. Like, we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. So when you are putting that weight on yourself, that's going to exacerbate it. You don't want to do that. So failure is not final. Failure you can learn from. It's a great stepping stone. It's a great area for you to just get to a different place and to be that much better. And then last thing, number 4, is I learned to manage expectations. A lot of our disappointment comes from unmet expectations. Right now in life, like I wouldn't say I have a lot of expectations from like other people and things and whatever. And that's helped my happiness so much more because when I get in a situation like, okay, I don't expect anything of it. I don't expect any certain outcome of it. I don't expect any certain, I'm like, yeah, I might want a certain thing, but I'm like, I don't expect for it to happen, right? I'll put in the effort to get there. I use running as an example because it's so applicable. When I go out and it's summertime and it's hot and I wake up and it's already 85 degrees and I'm going on a run, it's like 85 degrees and like 100% humidity. I'm like, I want to be running, a tempo run in in the 7s, right? But then when I get out there, I'm like, that's what I want now, but I don't have an expectation that I'm going to always get there because sometimes at mile 3, the heat might hit and I might have my nutrition that I've already downed and that it's not hitting in the way that I want. I'm like, ooh, now I just have to make it home, right? So if every time it's like the only time I judge myself is I meet this expectation, then I'm going to be sad because sometimes I'm not going to meet my expectation. So when you learn to manage your expectations, you're able to help yourself and ease any sort of blow. Now, I'm not saying don't strive for certain things. I'm not saying don't strive to achieve or whatever. But what I am saying is if every time you have this expectation of a specific outcome, you are going to be very sad. My 5-year plan, I had this expectation of an outcome. If I don't reach it, it's like, now is my life a failure? No, it's not the case, right? So manage your expectations. So again, if you are in an area where you're failing and you're like, I can't see my way out of it, 4 things to do. Number 1, focus on the process over the prize. If every day you focus on just getting better in the process instead of the outcome of a prize, you're going to be that much better. Number 2, if you just get more comfortable in your own skin, every time you fail, it's like stripping away this weight and stripping away this part of you. And then you just get to the point where you're like this bare part of you, you're like, oh, I just failed so much, but I've learned so much. Like, okay, that's kind of nice. I'm free to do whatever I want and be whoever I want because I know the worst that can happen is I fail. And if I've already failed at that, it's okay. Number 3, I realize that failure isn't final. Realize that failure is not final. If you make it final, it's going to add so much more weight than it has to be. And number 4, manage your expectations. If you manage what you expect of the thing, it's going to decrease your stress. You're going to be able to operate so much more. Life is just going to be a little bit easier for you. So again, these are 4 things that I did that helped me when I had my 5-year plan just completely fall apart and everything. And we got back up on our feet, and we will continue to do so if other things fall apart because that's who we are. You're resilient. I'm resilient. That's it. See you all in the next video. Peace.